Three things astronauts claim to have seen in space. Space snake. The infamous retired NASA astronaut Dr. Story Musgrave certainly has a lot to his credit. So it would be rather difficult to pass this off as a lie, but he reportedly claims he saw an 8-foot-long white snake that was floating through space. It's not exactly hard to imagine that this could have simply been a hose detached from the spaceship, but Musgrave still remains adamant. The knock. First off, there isn't any sound on space, only vacuum. And this is exactly what makes this story a strange one. In 2003, astronaut Yang Liwei, the first to ever be sent into space by the Chinese space program, had been sitting in his space shuttle when he supposedly heard a knock. He described it as the knocking of an iron bucket with a wooden hammer. Apparently, Liwei's not the only one to have experienced this. There were several other Chinese astronauts between the years 2005 to 2008 who have reported hearing similar sounds. Strange space music. When the Apollo 10 mission was on, a test run was going on for the first ever mission to the moon. Astronauts, among many other things, took to testing various equipment. The stakes were extremely high since this was not a simulation but actual space. Much to the surprise of all these astronauts, they heard a rather strange sort of whistling on their headphones that they had later described as space music. A differently shaped UFO. When we think of UFOs, we immediately think of disc-shaped, flying saucers. Anything beyond most of our understanding is quite difficult to explain, as astronauts James McDivitt and Ed White eventually came to realize. This happened when they were actually flying over Hawaii. They soon noticed a flying object that, to them, didn't even seem like something from Earth. However, this metallic object appeared to have arms sticking out of its body. What was this object, and why did it even have arms? Floating animal corpses. This one will make sense, considering that the very first test subjects to make it to space happened to be a monkey and a dog. And when a seemingly good thing actually turned into failure, these animal corpses were then launched into space, where they reportedly float to this very day and can even be seen by astronauts making trips to space. While it's definitely sad, the scene can seem a bit eerie, too. Just imagine seeing animal corpses floating around against the backdrop of a black and infinite space, and you simply have to go on doing what you came to do. Strange lights. The American astronaut Leroy Chiao happened to be the commander of the International Space Station back in 2005. During his exploration, Chiao, with his crew, reportedly observed a strange set of lights in space. According to Chiao, this unusual formation resembled an upside-down V. Today, Chiao claims that he is 100% convinced he had actually been visited by aliens. Moreover, he also does not discount the possibility of the UFO that he witnessed being from a parallel dimension. A mysterious shiny object on the moon. The NASA astronaut Alan Bean happened to be the fourth man to walk on the moon's surface. He finally got his opportunity to do so in 1969 while piloting Apollo 12. During his walk on the moon, Bean had claimed that he saw something shiny in the distance and described this object as the shape of a leather shoe. It's a bit hard to contemplate what exactly Bean saw, and unfortunately, there isn't much of an explanation. With Bean's passing, it seems that the spooky shine on the moon will remain an unusual mystery forever. There's someone on the moon watching us. When famous astronaut Neil Armstrong decided to take a walk on the moon and became the very first man to do so, what followed was a flood of conspiracy theories. For one, his incredibly historic stroll on the moon was claimed to have actually been shot in a studio. Of all the conspiracy theories that surround this moment, there's one that remains a mystery till today. During the 1969 Apollo 11 mission, after Armstrong had landed on the moon, NASA reportedly lost transmission for roughly 2 minutes. And in a supposedly secret message to NASA, Armstrong had been recorded saying that there were other spacecrafts out there and that they are on the moon watching us.